And let's see, I am going to have to take a minute here to put up the summoner blockers because there's been a little bit of a resolution mismatch, etc., etc. But not a big deal. I'm sure they will be up before we even see any picks. So just get that down. Yeah, sorry about that. We're trying to, as I was incorporating the new overlays and such, little bit of a mismatch here. So just gonna put these up manually as we go into the lobby.
We're seeing a Talon and a Kasten ban, as well as a Mordekaiser ban. Mordekaiser's a champion that we do not see banned very often, or picked very often. He's one of those ones that's doesn't make too many appearances in Dominion events. So I'm not sure if that's a targeted ban or if that's just they have a reason for banning. I'm sure they have a reason for banning him, or they wouldn't ban someone. But Mordekaiser getting taken out. Talon, he's got a silence, he's got a gap closer. Pretty good burst. Darius is a very durable champion and brings that true damage to the table, which is a really rough thing to deal with. Plus, he has that reset on his ultimate. Any champion that has the ability to reset, champions like Master Yi, Katarina, Tristana, Darius, all very scary champions sometimes, because if they get to connect just right, they can easily mow down your whole team, and that's a really scary thing. You don't want that to be able to happen. Darius in particular is the best at it because he's so durable. He can usually live to be able to deliver that multiple ult or multiple ability chain, whereas some of the other characters, Yi, Kat, and Tristana, aren't quite as durable. They don't live long enough to really take advantage of those resets. And Kasten's extremely mobile champion. That's why he gets banned out a lot. Riftwalk is... he's so good at chasing. He's very good at being able to run away and escape ganks. He can come in from basically anywhere he wants to. He's got a pretty sick silence, and he's got a slow on top of that. Yorick's got really good bottom lane sustain, and so does Nunu. That's why those two are probably getting banned. And for picks, though, we see High People's taking Maokai. Maokai's another champion that has great sustain. See him bottom lane a lot, but we see him top lane, too, pretty often, because that ultimate with Maelstrom, with that damage reduction when people are already sort of building a little bit defensively, that really helps out a lot. But looking at Team Trepidation's side, we see a Jax and a Pantheon highlight. We see Jax locked in. Pantheon maybe going to get locked in as well. Pantheon and Jax both have a stun. Jax is an AoE stun. That's notable. And we also... Oh, no, going to switch over to Lulu instead.
That Lulu was not banned. Is often, banned now for pretty much any team matchup. Just really highlighted as one of the, if not the best support champion for Dominion. Gonna be picked up here for Trepidation. So now with Zillion and Rammus banned out, Lulu gets picked up by the other team. Are we still going to see maybe, a Janna or such for that Pooter's trademark backcap style, or do you think this is going to force a little bit of a switch up?
I'm not sure. It could go either way. I know Pooters is the most proficient at that style of play. I don't think there's anyone that really matches him. People, well, not people, but teams specifically, the top-end teams, Blind Pick, Banditos, Point Defense, and Pays Evelyn Child Support, both have anti-Pooters strategies specifically for him because he's so good at what he does with that. And he might go for the same thing if that's what he's best at. I feel like in a competitive environment, you'd want to go with what you were the best at, even if other people were sort of aware of it. Because then if you try and play their game, you're not going to be as good as if you were just playing your own game that you're already good at and them having to deal with that. I'd rather them have to deal with the A game regardless of if they knew it was coming or not. And seeing a Malphite locked in as well on Take Your Pill. Malphite, very durable champion, lots of armor. You'll notice that durability is sort of a theme. We mentioned durability a lot because you've got to be able to survive 1v1. You've got to be able to delay on a point to keep the enemy from capturing it. And that ability to delay is so vital. And those extra couple seconds, that makes all of the difference sometimes between getting an interrupt on a point that's being captured and not getting that interrupt. And that's part of the reason you see Revive being picked a lot, is because those seconds are just so precious that you need to make use of them. And we'll see what that gets locked in as in a moment in reference to that Annie pick. So Malphite's very good. He's also got an attack speed slow in an AoE, which is very good because now seeing that Pantheon locked in over there, Pantheon and Jax is one of my favorite combinations to play when I'm playing not draft, like because they both have a jump, they have a gap closer with Leap Strike and Aegis, and they both have a stun that they can deliver. And that sort of leapfrog stun combination with their high melee damage it's just damned brutal. And they're quite durable as well with counterattack and with the shield that Pantheon has. I forget its name. I'm sorry. And both add to their survivability a lot. However, Malphite is able to take their power down a notch with that AoE slow. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Malphite go Frozen Heart Randuin's to help shut them down even further. And there is that Janna that you were talking about.
There we go. I mean, kind of saw it coming. If you've seen Pooters before, he likes champions with speed, and he of course opts for Zillion if it's ever open. Zillion having the longest duration in speed modifier in the game. Then Lulu's often picked. But you know what? Janna, while she doesn't necessarily have an active, she's naturally fast, so definitely viable for that. Also very good at just keeping, leashing people away from the rest of the game. I mean, she's fast, she's got really good disengage, but she can kind of kite and just keep someone completely distracted with her skill set. And then if need be, can blow that ult and get away to safety. A very, very good kit for that Pooter style of play. Excited to see that. We are seeing Malzahar being highlighted as the last pick after Brand, and we'll see if that gets locked in or if it's going to be a last minute switch. But if that gets locked in, we do see the full lineups for both teams already here for this first round match of Dominate Dominion 23. It's going to be Malzahar, so are we going to assume that that's going to be a Malzahar bot and the rest going top?
I think that is a safe bet. I mean, Jax is also a very capable bottom lane champion. Some viewers might be familiar with Sauron playing Jax in that manner. So Jax can go bottom lane or top lane, but Malzahar I think is best suited to the bottom lane. So we'll probably see Malzahar bottom lane, Jax up on the top end of the map. Seeing a couple of trades going on each side. Looking like High People's going to end up with Ezreal, or as some people in the chat have referred to it as Schrodinger's Ezreal, where you don't quite know exactly where he is, but you know exactly what he's going to do to you. He can always be closer to you all of a sudden, so his range is a little bit further than you think. Just when you think you're out of range, he can Arcane Shift up and unload on you. And just when you think he's in range, he can Arcane Shift back, and you won't be able to reach him, and you'll spend your skills and nothing will happen. Or you can just stop being there by Arcane Shifting over a wall, or suddenly be there Arcane Shifting over a wall. Great, great champion to have on your team in Dominion. Seeing Flower Bridge end up with Malphite Take Your Pill on Maokai. And if I recall correctly, Take Your Pill is a rather proficient Maokai player, if I'm remembering things right. Ekis the Seraph on Diana. And I believe Diana is probably going to be their bottom lane champion. We've seen a lot of bottom lane Diana recently. And over on the other side, we see Miss Mia Rose ending up with Pantheon, Toodles on Jax, Tempest EP with Malzahar. And I love Tempest EP's bottom lane play. I'm a big fan of that. And seeing him with that Garrison there, it's another indicator that he's probably going to go bottom lane. Revive Garrison is sort of the bottom lane combination. And I like the distribution of damage that they have. I mean, even though Mal's is probably going to be more of an attack damage build, his spells still deal magic damage. And you got Brand for magic damage, and you've got Pantheon and Jax for physical damage. So, I mean, what do you do? Do you count on Maokai, or not Maokai, excuse me, do you count on Malphite to deal with the AD champions and worry about mitigating the AoE that Brand has? Or do you worry about the two AD champions keeping you locked down with their stuns and their AoE damage with the Heartseeker strike and the counterattack? I don't know. We're going to see how this plays out.
I would say, especially for Jax, I mean, Jax is so dependent on attack speed, so sticking Malphite onto that bruiser is going to be the number one answer for the blue team here, which is Pooty. Diana capable of taking someone out really quick, at the same time also capable of doing really well, really good sustained damage throughout a team fight. That low cooldown on her Q, just allowing her to burst for a ton of AoE nonstop, and that passive, of course, is a key part of her damage output. So I'm wondering if we're going to see Aegis go straight for Brand or Lulu and just kind of knock them out right away, or if it's going to be more of a, I guess, sustainable Diana build where you're a little bit more tanky than more assassin, and you're going to kind of stick around, do a lot of splash damage, do a lot of AoE damage, and chip them down so that Ezreal can get the pickoffs. As you mentioned, there's a lot of flexibility here for both teams and how they're going to go about this. There's Both teams are also very different, and the number one thing is how are they going to deal with Janna? How are they going to deal with Pooters going and trying to distract the entire enemy team? You can't ignore him because then he's just going to get backcaps all day long. But at the same time, you can't spend too much time on him unless if you shift the champions around correctly, you could. But if not, you have to make sure the remaining 3 people at top, or the remaining 4 people overall, are capable of handling a full team fight while one person chases around that Janna.
And we're going to hit the load screen here and see who's got which skins. Love the art team for League of Legends. They're great. They're awesome, and they do art reworks and stuff too to help keep everything sort of like updated and kind of comparable to each other in styles and other things. I'd love to have these guys like paint murals and stuff, or just like sell like. Oh man, if these guys had trading cards with the different skins you could buy at events, I would buy so many of those. I would run out of money immediately. There's rioters watching, do that. Make like promo little trading cards that have like it has like a picture of Ezreal and like his skills on it, And then on the back it has like the Riot Games logo. Oh man. Yeah.
Would be
Those
pretty
get
crazy.
snatched up. I'd love them. Just waiting to kick through the loading screen here, seeing that new Nemesis Jax skin there on Toodles. It's a pretty neat skin. And seeing Full Metal Pantheon. Everyone else just kind of rocking the standard Totemic Maokai.
Speaking of skins, for those of you who have been living under a rock but play League of Legends, there is that new refund function. Pretty nifty. You only get 3 tokens though, so you can't just keep like buying things and trying them out and returning them. But it is nice to have. I mean, sometimes you buy something and it's really not what you expected, or maybe you had a misclick. Things happen. So Riot generously giving us those 3 refund tokens.
Let me know when you load in.
I am. Oh, there we go. I am loaded in. Are you?
No.
This is the real game of Dominating Dominion tournaments. Not actually the matches. It's do the casters get in at the same time?
Well, I found a pattern. When I have fraps on, I can see my frame rate. When the game's frame rate drops to 2 and then stays there, I don't load in. I don't know what the connection is, but that's how I knew to ask. Saw it go to 2 and I'm like, wait. So we want to talk about what the opening items and things like that are.
We'll go ahead. We're looking at the. Sorry, I was just changing around the scoreboard. For those of you also who didn't know, the spectator mode got that little update. You can kind of change the scoreboard. Not as crucial in Dominion since it's more fluid, but oftentimes there are the bot lane champions and whatnot. It's nice to see the comparison, especially because there's not that much action in the bot lane in a lot of games. So let's see. Ezreal starting with pretty much standard items. Everyone going for the standard kind of boots, pots, some prospector items. We do see boots of ability on both Lulu here and Janna. So Lulu going to be that designated champion so far to take care of Pooters, going around and going for that back caps. Maokai starting with that catalyst for some lane sustain alongside Malzahar. So those are going to be the bot lane champions, and Catalyst very, very good for that, as they're just going to go for a little bit of farming and pushing around in the beginning. Not going to see too much action. Lulu's actually going to go ahead and go straight for a bottom lane check up and maybe even a backup. That's standardly what Pooters has done, but Pooters goes for the windmill right away with that speed boost. This is not something you were used to seeing Pooters pull off with his playstyle. Gonna go ahead and disengage. That's half of the windmill already channeled for Pooty's team, and Miss Rizal Pantheon running very low, but is going to escape thanks to exhaust on Malphite. Malphite now in a little bit of danger as 4 people from Trepidation closing around him. Pantheon gonna go ahead and Jack's gonna go ahead and keep pushing in. Ezreal being forced back because of that exhaust. Malphite's running very low. Malphite will go down to Jax as the first kill up here in the top portion of the map. And Trepidation's gonna go ahead and start channeling on the windmill right away. Meanwhile, we do see Pooters has gone to the drill after getting that advantage in the windmill. Gonna start now with the back camp kind of distraction playstyle. That did allow Trepidation, however, to pick up the windmill right away after that kill on Malphite. And now we're back to a pretty standard 3-2 cap situation up at the windmill. We do see a fight in the top brush. We're going to see Diana get melted right away, but Ezreal is still putting out some good damage. Very low on health though. Ezreal's gonna go down. Now it's a 2v1. It's Brand and Pantheon against Malphite. Can they take it down? The stun lands. There's the exhaust. Brand and Pantheon both getting out safely. Very low on health though. Diana's going to come up with that revive. Is Diana going to get a pick-off kill, or is Pantheon going to back off in time? Pantheon needs to watch out. Going to get hit by that Q, but in no big danger. Diana does not have her ult yet, so Brand also sticking around on the sidelines for any extra damage and maybe even a stun in case Pantheon gets dove under that windmill tower. Meanwhile, we do see Janna and Lulu just going around in this chase. They've been sticking around the drill area for quite a bit, but Janna's going to start moving down to the boneyard, and that's going to force Pantheon and Jax to actually start being a little bit more mobile. Maokai, meanwhile, jumps onto Malzahar as we see Ezreal coming in for the gank, and here comes Malphite too. This is a 3v1 here in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Janna has distracted Pantheon, Jax, and Lulu all together. Malzahar being completely pushed away as Malphite and Ezreal push against this boneyard. Jack's going to show up. He has to delay this for as long as possible. Meanwhile, Maokai gets to pick up on Malzahar. Janna's still going to keep Lulu distracted and now meets up with Pantheon as Lulu trades off to come here and make this a 2v2 in the bottom lane. But Maokai, excuse me. Maokai not far behind. It's still a 3v2. Janna keeping Pantheon distracted. Malzahar has now spawned. Did not use, or he did use his revive actually as he saw the lane pushing down. Lulu gets hit by the two-shot barrage. Malphite gets a double kill, catching it with that unstoppable force, and now Malzahar getting pushed away. Pantheon trying to jump in with his ultimate. Is it going to be enough? There's still 3v2. No tower advantage for Trepidation. Pantheon gets blocked in by Maokai. Ezreal just cutting as much as possible. Pantheon taking too much damage. There's the arcane shift. Ezreal's going to be saved from Maokai, mitigating a ton of damage with his Malzahar. He's gonna get away. The Voidling is going to back off as Malzahar is forced to run back to his base. Malphite keeping everyone going, but there is one efficient on Ezreal, and Pantheon gonna come in and pick up the kill with that guaranteed crit. Malphite jumps right back in to get that kill and try to sustain himself with his passive lifesteal. Not gonna be enough, and now Malphite has to run, but they've kept this tower neutralized, keeping it at a 2v2 in order to make a bit of a catch-up game, but they're still behind 480 to 428 here in favor of Trepidation. Meanwhile, Brand and Diana have been dueling in a 1v1 up top in Windmill, but that should change quite soon, as Windmill now has been labeled as the objective for Pooty, while the Refinery is going to be the objective for Trepidation. Janna's still running around with only that boost of ability. Same thing with Lulu. They've just been in that chase that will go on forever in this game. As you might imagine if you've seen Pooty play before, everything's kind of reset back to normal. It's just Malphite and Malzahar here in the bot lane. Janna's going to keep running. Janna's going to keep running around with low health though, no items, and here comes Jax and Pantheon. If Jax lands the stun, it's going to be really dangerous. Jax actually just picks up the kill with that Storm Shield, doesn't even need the help of Pantheon. Now Malphite and Ezreal up at the top pressuring the windmill, but it's going to be 3 extra members of Trepidation joining Brand, and they're going to launch a full-on defense. They might even go for a kill here as Pantheon gets the stun onto Ezreal. Jax jumps in with that Storm Shield. He is not able to get the counter-strike though, a little bit too late on that channel, but Ezreal still gets burst down by Pantheon and Jax together. Pantheon on a rampage at this point, and the windmill is still in control of Trepidation. They're now leading 40 to 390, about a 100-point lead. Maokai meanwhile pressuring Malzahar, but Malzahar does get his ult down, and Maokai running very low. He needs to run. Malzahar is going to see if he can pick up the kill, but the minions are pushing in favor of Pooty, so he's just going to back off content with pressuring Maokai out of that lane. Pantheon needs to watch out. Malphite is in the area, but there's Brand and Lulu coming to the rescue, and now they're just going to go in and start chasing this Janna once again. Meanwhile, Pantheon actually catches Malphite, and there's the help coming down from Jax. These two into, as Gander mentioned, a formidable combo, and then Pantheon flies up into the air to defend the windmill. It survives with barely any health, pretty much 0 health points on that tower. Still in control by Trepidation. LeGrand not able to get the stun. Oh, he does get the stun. Half a second later, and there's Jax. They're putting down the exhaust just to be sure that Ezreal doesn't get away. Picks off the kill, and Pantheon now pushing Diana back towards the refinery. Janna's been pretty much locked down next to this drill by Lulu, not able to shoot much, making the game pretty much a full 4v4, and Trepidation should be happy with that. Meanwhile, Malphite takes a ton of magic damage coming out from Brand. Diana trying to chase down Pantheon, but there's Jax and Brand closing in. She needs to watch out. She's trying to get away with the shield, but can they land the stun? There's Brand landing the stun, and the Pillar of Flame. Diana gets burst down. No escape for her. There's a True Shot barrage, but it's not going to pick up any kills. Meanwhile, Maokai has neutralized the Boneyard and may even get a kill here. No, Lulu's actually going to turn around, pick up the kill with one last auto attack and the help of her favorite assistant picks. Meanwhile, Pooters is left open to channel the drill, but not able to get the neutralized. Pantheon shows up to block down. Trepidation dealing very well with this backup style of Pooters.
And Crocodile getting shut down up at the top end of the map by the combination of Malphite and Ezreal. Mia Rose coming up to interrupt that. Isn't quite there in time to save the tower, unfortunately. That is the quest objective. They do not want to let that go. And getting taken down, but just trying to delay. And it looks like she was able to delay long enough for Toodles to get up to the top. He jumps in with the counterattack, though, takes a lot of damage in the process. But Crocodile is right there to throw down that AoE, that Pillar of Flame, landing pretty good on there. I guess the Seraph having to back on out of that. And now Crocodile getting chased rather, away from that point and getting killed, but not able to save that point, unfortunately. They were able to delay it for quite a period of time there, but going in 1v3, 1v3, 1v3 in a row, they weren't really able to secure the killing blows they needed to stop that point from being captured. Pooter's swinging around and back behind the drill, getting caught with a Glitter Lance right there, taking some damage from Nyx, but then just kind of pooting on away from the point there. Both teams, neither one of them up in a position to make a move on the windmill right now. With Pooters being chased around the map, Mia going for the Storm Shield, though, getting caught in a sandwich between everyone right there. Mia in the middle getting taken out now, and Crocodile and Nyx having to retreat from that point in the middle of the map.
Take Your Pill was in a 2v1 for quite a long time, is very low, but still trying to keep the other the enemies locked down for Malphite and Ezreal to come in with that pickup. Diana also has joined the fight now. They're focusing down on Jax because Jax is trying to single out this Ezreal, and there's the Pyroclast bouncing between two champions nonstop. Jax gets the double kill. Now they're chasing down Malphite. Meanwhile, Janna's still running away. Here's the Pantheon coming and trying to save Malzahar, and successful in that, but not able to catch Diana. Brand turns around, is going to dodge that Q as he jukes in and out of that brush, and they're going to chase away the rest of Pooty as Trepidation now tries to regain their momentum. The top has been neutralized by the force of minions, and that's pretty demoralizing. Malphite's going to be up there. He's going to start channeling, but is he going to be quick enough? Diana joins him. Can Pantheon get up there? We're going to see the speed shrine help out Lulu, and Lulu's going to blow that extra speed buff onto Brand, so Brand can get there with that Pillar of Flame. The tower still gets captured by Malphite and Diana, and here comes Ezreal. It's an instant 3v2, and there's the unstoppable force. Malphite juking out right away, using that knock-up time to avoid any damage, and they pick up both kills, securing the windmill in favor of Pooty.
And while that was going on, Nyx and Toodles were both dealing with Pooters over by the drill, so that did leave them one person down in that fight at the middle. High Peoples is going to be able to secure the Storm Shield, no problem. And right now, they can't really make a play for the top. They just have their support and Jax. So they're going to make a play down here for the bottom lane. They got Tempest EP down there pushing up on Maokai. Take Your Pill kind of gets a sense of what's going on. He's like, hey, wait a minute, everyone's Mia on the map. Where should I go? He's going to back off just a little bit. His teammate's getting in a position on the lower part of the map to maybe help him out in case things go bad. And Nyx comes down with Tempest to go deal with Take Your Pill. Tree turned into a small furry creature there for a second, but Take Your Pill doing a really good job of staying inside the Maelstrom, helping to mitigate that damage and just keep him alive longer and longer and longer. But he gets caught by the ultimate from Malzahar and taken down. Pooters is able to go around behind, but Lulu no doubt is going to be able to deal with that.
Yeah, Lulu, very, very good pick to block those backcaps, has that extra speed buff, and has really good long-range poke. to either kite herself or also interrupt from afar. We're going to see Jax actually jump down here using that speed shrine. They're comfortable leaving the windmill right now because we have Malzahar here, played by Tempest DP, capturing the quarry for Trepidation. So they're going to now focus on defending the drill and maybe trying to maintain the quarry until they can get a setup to launch an assault onto the windmill once again. It's a 3-for-2 cap favor for Trepidation, and Janna finally gets caught by Jax, and Lulu gets taken down as we see the last part of that skirmish. Meanwhile, Pantheon jumps onto Malphite. Not the best situation though, as we see Ezreal jumping in with Diana. That True Shot Barrage, but there's the Pyroclasm. It's going to hit all 3 members, but Malphite is going to stop Jax as Jax tries to jump in for an easy kill. Malphite's going to stop him with a stop, of course. Diana picks up the kill with her jump on Brand. Now Nyx in a little bit of a tricky situation. Jax is going to jump in, so we're going to see Lulu stick around for assistance. Can they defend this tower though? The tower has been offensive garrison by Pooty, and now they're going to try to take down Lulu. Lulu surviving for so long with Wild Growth, but not long enough. But is it long enough? Actually, as Pantheon jumps in with his ultimate, but all 3 members are going to run away. They're not going to go for the neutralize. Jax came by with the revive. Pantheon jumps in with his ultimate, and they were able to catch the quarry actually in favor of Pooty. So again, teams very aware of where their towers are and how content they will be to give up an assault they already launched.
Toodles going up against 3 people up behind the windmill, going in for High Peoples, but High Peoples did have some backup there, but he is able to back on out of the fight, and Crocodile getting exhausted right there and taken down. High Peoples is just shredding it up here as Ezreal. Mia is able to take him down, however, though Flower Bridge is able to seal the deal by taking down Pantheon. The bottom end of the map, Nyx did had to go down there for a little bit of help dealing with Pooters now. Take Your Pill coming to defend his turret as Tempest pushes up. There are minions on that tower, but Take Your Pill is able to clear them out pretty quickly, and just trying to get as much cap time in on that tower as they can. Take Your Pill taking damage in the process. He wants to help take out Nyx there with the help of Pooters, and Nyx has to ult himself. Oh gosh, High People's almost connecting with the True Shot Barrage. Nyx is able to escape for the moment though, and deflect Pooters from that play.
Very good juke, on the Howling Gale. Meanwhile, Jax jumps in under the tower at the windmill. It's just Aegis alone, but there's the Unstoppable Force across the wall, locking down all 3 people. Pyroclasm is going to bounce between both champions for the maximum number possible. Brand still goes down, but Jax is going to pick up the easy kill on Diana. Pantheon and Jax left, and there's the stun combo. They're trying to stay outside of tower, and Pantheon actually tanks 1 tower hit with his passive Aegis, but Jax is still going to get taken out with the help of the tower, and there's the ground slam for the double kill for Malphite, defending that windmill successfully. Meanwhile, Tempest CP has taken a ton of damage from High Peoples. Ezreal trying to push down against this Boneyard. They know they're safe up there at the windmill, and they have a number advantage right now, so Maokai's going to join him for a 2v1 against this Boneyard. They want to take out Malzahar before they go for the tower. The minions have started pushing down onto it. Was that a mistake though, as Jax shows up with Brand? It's a 2v2, and Maokai is going to get stopped, but the neutralize happens thanks to the minions, and now it's a 2v1 as Brand spends a little bit too much time on that tower. Malzahar shows up to change it to a 3v2 in favor of Trepidation. There's a True Shot Barrage, knocking down some more health away from Brand, but Ezreal and Maokai still forced to retreat. Maokai actually knows that he's trapped and takes the kill onto Brand with that explosive sapling. Ezreal meanwhile trying to escape away from Malzahar.
And up at the top end of the map, Mia and Nyx went for the top point. Mia Rose with a very good Grand Skyfall in to begin capping that point, but Pooters with that movement speed was able to get up there and interrupt before she was able to neutral the point. With a little bit of help from Flower Bridge and Ekis the Seraph, Malphite and Diana up there, they were able to take care of them. With them shut down up top, High People's Ezreal is able to make a play in on the drill.
Jax picks off the kill onto Malphite, but once again, Pooty is going to be content neutralizing this dribble. Ezreal a little bit too far ahead of his team is going to get picked off, should go down here. Lulu's going to be the one to pick up the kill. Malzahar quickly going for the quarry, seeing that his team has lost some momentum. Tempest wants to gain another tower, but here comes Ezreal with that revive, going to chase away Malzahar, and now we're going to see Trepidation actually set up in the middle of the map. Are they going to go for a back cap on the refinery as a team? They do see Malphite going for that Storm Show. Malphite's not going to finish the channel. Jax jumps onto him right in time, gets the stun, and there's the chain stun from Pantheon. Malphite taking so much damage. It's a mix of both magic and physical damage. Takes the rock down and with 3 people, and now Diana forced to retreat to the windmill to defend as they suspect a Trepidation is going to be launching an assault, and we do see Pantheon and Brand setting up for that.
Malphite using that revive there to get back out on the field. A very wise decision coming in with that unstoppable force right into that fight. Mia Rose getting taken down, and now Toodles having to retreat from that. Things were looking pretty good until Malphite threw down that revive, helped really deny that play up at the top. We're having to use the ultimate there on Lulu to help keep Toodles alive as they retreat down to the drill, and they have to defend that point 2v4 if Hooters' team wishes to dive that. Looks like they are opting not to do so. They are going to go ahead, use this opportunity to recall one of their champions to buy and do a little bit of work there. Flower Bridge is just kind of spotting around the Speed Shrine. He's hanging out. He wants to see what's going on there. Decides to pick a fight with Mia Rose, and Malphite is just the champion for that kind of encounter, because looking at Malphite, we see the Frozen Heart, we see the Sunfire Cape, and we see him now retreating from Nyx and Toodles. Toodles goes in with the Leap Strike, Pantheon cutting in behind with the Grand Skyfall, though, going in immediately on Ekis the Seraph right there. A lot of damage being put down, but High People's coming up to the fight just a couple of moments after it happens, unloading that damage, and a pause goes down. It looks like Brand has disconnected.
Yup. Thankfully, Brand was not part of that fight, so it wouldn't have affected it too much. But we do see Brand. I think he's already on the way back to the base, so the team pausing right away as soon as that fight ended. And we'll hopefully see Brand reconnect right away. But what do you think of the game so far? You know, I was going to say Pooters on Janna in the beginning seemed to have some trouble, especially with an active speed ability. But now with that Shirley's Reverie, and with that passive speed being built up, being much more efficient, and actually joining his team a lot more than he normally would on Zillion or Lulu.
Yeah, Pooters has been playing pretty darn good this whole game. We've seen him in a lot more fights than usual. Another one of the things that's catching my attention here, looking at getting a chance to look at the items, is we're seeing a very high damage Pantheon build. Brutalizer, Sanguine Blade, a little bit lighter on the defense than we normally see. We just loaded out with a Hex Drinker, not a Maw yet, seeing a Glacial Shroud, not a Frozen Heart yet, and seeing a Ninja Tabby there. So going for a little bit less durable, but a little bit more damage output. And we have seen that in encounters, but we've also seen them focusing Pantheon a lot. They seem to be really aware of the damage that Mia Rose's Pantheon is able to put out. And we see Pantheon getting shut down a lot there. Brand, however, has been, I think, the bigger part of this equation with the AoE damage, but I don't know if that's going to be able to carry them through the rest of the game or not.
Yeah, I mean, Brand opted to rush that Rylai's Crystal Scepter, and it's gonna add some survivability and I guess some extra CC, but at the same time it takes away so much damage. Brand is great when he's built Glass Cannon. Of course, you have to get the full combo off before you die, but if you do, the damage output on that Pyroclasm is just so immense, and he's had great Pyroclasms set up, but at the same time, because of that item build, it didn't do as much damage as you would expect. Of course, I mean, Malphite's tanky, but even to Diana or Ezreal, not taking them out immediately, just bringing them low, and both champions very mobile. They jump out and they start kiting with the help of Malphite tanking. It hasn't really been working out for Trepidation. They still have a lot of time left. 270 to 121 game definitely isn't over by any means for the teams. And if we see that death cap being finished, as we do see the Neasing Large Rod and the Blasting Wand, that could change the flow of teamfights for Trepidation. So much extra damage output now coming out because of that passive on the Rabadon's death cap, amplifying your ability power. And we are going to see the game resume. So we see at the top right now, Lulu in a little bit of trouble. Is she going to get caught? She does get caught. We have a little bit of a sinking issue there, and Lulu's going to run away with that Speed Shrine as Brand shows up to stun Malphite and stop the advancement.
And last note I want to make on items is you see Ezreal seems to be their primary damage dealer. Diana hasn't really built a significant amount of damage so far this game. She's got a lot of resistance, though. And down at the bottom end, though, Tempest DP in the middle of Take Your Pill and Pooters, but Crocodile landing a very nice Pyroclasm there, able to start a little bit of forest fire on Maokai and shut Janna down in the process. Flower Bridge comes with the Unstoppable Force and wants to get Tempest, but saw that Tempest was kind of backing out away from the fight, so opted to not chase and instead put that damage on Brand. Take your pills. Maokai is over there. Tempest doesn't want to trigger that sapling at all, and we'll see if he's able to get out of that okay. He looks good so far, but Diana is coming down from the top. Nope, looks like she's just hanging. Yeah, she is coming down at the top. Things do not look so great for Tempest DP.
Yep, Ezra and Diana going for that pick off. They're fairly confident. I mean, they didn't have the manpower to launch an assault up top anyway, as Malphite is already here at the Boneyard, and now they're going to go into a 2v1 engagement against Brand. Janna picking up that kill, no problem after a little bit of CC, but Lulu comes down here to block Malphite, and we do see that Trepidation has that damage buff. Because of the objective, as we see pop up now and then in Dominion. Ezreal getting chased away by Jax. There's the exhaust, so they're going to now turn onto Diana, as Pandan had already done some damage. They're trying to lock her down, but there's the shield. Diana so deceptive with that extra health on that shield, and they're going to get both kills here in favor of Pooty. Ezreal and Diana gets out alive, and they're going to start channeling onto the windmill.
With as much damage as Ezreal has, you really have to put him down, but he is so good at being able to stay out of range with that arcane shift. And Diana, whose HP was a lie there, good ult on the bottom by Tempest EP, locking down Flower Bridge there for a moment, but wasn't able to secure the kill, unfortunately. Nyx A7 still defending that bottom point. And now the action moving over to the drill as High Peoples is getting pushed away. But High Peoples, Ezreal, lots and lots of damage, no durability all, but they just haven't been able to get to him. See Toodles right there getting a nice stun off and just doing a lot of damage to him. High Peoples really just waiting for that arcane shift, or waiting for someone else to come in and help him out. And there, right there, you saw that. Diana goes in with the Lunar Rush there, pulls Jax back away from Ezreal. Ezreal is very killable, but his team is set up to protect him very, very well. Unstoppable Force goes off, pops Mia and Crocodile up into the air there. High People is able to sit back and chip away at things, and this is how you play Ezreal in Dominion. Each person on his team has some way of being able to help keep him alive, keep the enemies away from him, so that he can deal his damage. Diana's got one, Maokai's got one, Janna's got one, Malphite, everyone has one, and with Ezreal's ability to just sort of kind of not be there, or suddenly be there if he wants to with the arcane shift, it's been very dangerous all game long.
Yeah, High People's being very smart about saving that arcane shift for the mobility, not for the damage, not to jump into the middle of a team fight, but saving it. Even in that last fight we saw, as soon as the Pyroclasm hit, he used it to get to the health shrine as soon as possible to survive that and stick around, and trusting in Malphite and Diana controlling that fight for him to put out damage. The drill has been neutralized right now. It's a fight. It's pretty much the last fight we're going to see if Trepidation is not able to capture this, and they're distracted with the team fight. They are going to get the shutdown onto Ezreal, but at what cost? Lulu trying to capture the point, but Janna is around denying it non-stop. Brand goes for the windmill. They're a little bit too spread out. We can hear the clock ticking down. I don't think Trepidation can capture any point at this time, and the victory will go to Pooty, 2-16-0 in this first round matchup.
It's very, very well played Ezreal there by High Peoples. Also saw some good play all game long from Jackson Pantheon, but they really just weren't able to bully down targets like they needed to. They had good leapfrog stuns. They had some nice solid initiation. Saw some great Grand Skyfall play. Tempest DP playing some good bottom lane, but they just weren't able